I was just talking with a friend about discipline and energy levels and how do we keep those going. And I mentioned to her how, I'm going to be 42 in November. And so I was like, where is my energy gone? Like, really, I don't have the energy of like what I did when I was 22 or 25 or 26 or even 36. Like, it's different now than it was then. And then I started going down like what my actual day-to-day looked like. I remember working as a paralegal down in downtown Albuquerque, and I would have to drive almost 45 minutes to work. First, let's be honest. I had to take my kid to daycare, so I had to get up extra early, had to get ready, actually like curl my hair, put makeup on, wear something super cute to the office, drove to Albuquerque, which was like 35, 40 minutes, give or take from where I was living. And then I would sometimes have a date or two, depending on the day and my age at the same time. And then I would go get my son, drive all the way back to where I was living and feed him dinner. I also went to college, so I was probably going to classes at least 2 or 3, 4 hours a night. I was in school. And then after that, I still had the energy sometimes to go get super dressed up, go out and party, or at least club, or go on a great date, or go hang out with my friends, do something. Now, my energy does not look like that at all. It's bizarre to like even think about how I actually was able to get that. Like, even going to college, I spent so much time just in school doing the homework, doing the classes, researching, gathering all the items. And let's be honest, back then it was a lot harder to research things and to learn things. You actually had to go to the library sometimes because Google really wasn't like that cool yet, and neither was Yahoo. And so I had to actually go to the library and like pull cards and do the deep research there. Like, I'm old school traditional research, right? And so it blows my mind how I was able to get all of that done. And yet sometimes I look at my to-do list and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get all that done. Like, something misses like down the like little rabbit hole of like your energy, your to-do list. Like, back in your 20s, you were like, I can do this. I got it. I got all the energy, and I have more energy to go out and have fun and go have a life. Now I talk to business owners every day, and we are all in the same boat, rowing up the same stream of, I've got all these things to do and I'm trying to balance and have a life. Not, it's a must. I must have a life. Now it's like, I'm trying to have a life outside of my business, right? And so I get the question a lot, like, how do you have the discipline, the energy, the focus to be able to continue doing what you're doing day in, day out, year after year? Like, what's the thing? And honestly, it's the word discipline. I think that that's the key. And I think that was the key even back at 22, 25, 28, 30, 35, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that was the key, was that I was disciplined to show up better, to grow bigger, to do something different. That was like, that was my focus. And I was so hyper focused on that. And even right now, that's my focus. My focus has not changed. My focus is, how many more people can I help this year before the end of the year? Make sure that they hit their goals by the end of next year. Like, that's still my focus. And so I'm very disciplined in showing up for other people. And I'm just curious, how are you doing in the discipline department? Because I know for me, it's something that I truly do have to work at. And I'm really disciplined at some things, but I'm really suck at the others, like going to the gym. I'm really sucky at going to the gym. But I'm really good at drinking water, and I'm really good at eating my spinach, but I'm really bad at actually like driving myself to the gym or walking over to the other side of my room and picking up the weights. Like, I'm really bad at those things, but I will immediately get out of bed at 4:45 in the morning, grab a cup of coffee. As you know, I love my coffee. It's still sitting here on my desk though, by the way. See, haven't drink at all. I'll grab my coffee and I'll walk down, and I can immediately get to work. Like, I don't even need to like mentally get my brain in there, because it's already like, yes, let's get to work. You know what I mean? Because I'm excited about it. I love it. They said that, there's a saying that find something that you love and you'll never feel like you work a day in your life. And I think that there is some truth to that, but there's also non-truth. Work is work, right? It is what it is. Just because I'm a business owner doesn't mean I don't have work to do. I don't sit around in my cozy cat slippers and my blankie all day, drinking my coffee and binging TV. I'm actually working those hours. So there's truth in the piece that where if you are in love with what you do, it comes so much easier. Work is so much more pleasurable because you love it. Now, if you can become disciplined because you love it as well, even better, right? Because now you can actually 10x that. You can actually make something out of that because you're showing up and you're passionate about it on a regular, consistent basis, right? That's the piece. That's the piece of this whole thing is it has to be consistency. That's what discipline is. Discipline is showing up in the micro moments when you really don't want to do it, but you're going to do it anyways. A lot of my coaches, I'll hear them saying, I don't really feel good today. Don't really want to be doing this today, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I committed to doing it. I show up because I'm committed to doing it. I did the work because I promised myself I was going to do that, and then a couple years ago, as I was going through some changes in my own life, I was like, I'm going to keep the promises that I kept to myself, that I said that I was going to do if something specifically happened, and I'm going to do those sort of things. And then as I found myself with the opportunity to do those things, I had to remind myself, I said I was going to do this when the opportunity of it was available, if that other thing was not in my life anymore. I had to learn how to keep the promises to myself, because that was disciplining myself, that I could stay consistent and be persistent towards my goals and become a disciplined person. So I'm sharing this with you today because there's energy. It's the end of the year. People are getting tired. Families happening. You go to the store already, kids are already buying Christmas with their Halloween candy. It's already out. Everything's there. And so with that comes business owners. Our minds are like, okay, everyone's shopping. We got to have deals. We got to have offers. We've got to have all of the things that are out there. We've got to wrap up our books. We've got to make sure our deductions are in. We've got to do all of the things and continue to show up consistently, persistently as a disciplined entrepreneur, right? And so I'm sharing this with you, and I hope that this is resonating with you because I know from my own personal experience, my energy is not the same as it was when I was 22. There's absolutely no way I could work my shift in my own business and then go upstairs and get all dressed up, all sexy, and head on out to the bar tonight and go dance for 4 or 5 hours and then stumble into bed at 2 a.m, maybe with a drink or two in my system, and then wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. and still show up the same way that I do or I did today. So I just want to talk to you about that. And I hope that that really sits with you and you decide you're going to become a disciplined person. If you are a disciplined person, I would love to know your tips and your tricks and all your things of what continues to allow you to be disciplined, or even if you're not and you're trying to really work on it. There's been so many things in my life that I have gotten rid of to help me become a better disciplined person. I've gone through a lot of seasons. I've been doing this now for almost 20 years as in this entrepreneurial roller coaster. So I've seen it all. I think I've been through it all, and I've learned a lot through it. And with that comes, I've read every day. I have gone to sleep at somewhat of a normal, decent hour. I definitely don't run on 3 hours anymore like I did in my early 20s. I have to have sleep. Last night, I think I went to bed at 10:30. Most nights I'm in bed 11:30, which is really late, I feel like. I really don't think, 11:30 is really hard for me to wake up in the morning if I go to bed at 11:30. So 10:30 is kind of like my sweet spot. If I can get that extra hour in, I'm golden. So those are some things. But other things that I've done is I actually got rid of my TV for 1.5 years when I lived in Arizona. I said, you know what? If I don't have this thing going on, I'm going to get rid of my TV for 1.5 years. I bought an Alexa and I put on some really good, meditation music or calm music, acoustic music. And I just kind of allowed that to play in the background of my house. And it allowed me to get other things done, clean the house, spend time with my kid, go out and hike, focus on my business, finish those courses, get certified in something else. Just do the things that I said I was going to do. It really allowed me to have that time because I wasn't sitting there binging as soon as I walked in to sit down on the couch and watch TV. And what I did was I put the TV in my bedroom. So I still had, I had 3 TVs. I sold one, put one in my bedroom. And, you know, when I was laying down in the room, I could lay there and relax and watch TV. And then when I wasn't, all I stared at was actually my books. My books were like in front of me instead of behind me right now. And so when I was sitting on my couch, I stared at my books. And you know what? That was actually the best year I ever had reading books, that year and a half. I thought I was only going to have the TV gone for like 60 days, 6 months, 60 days, something like that. And instead it lasted a year and a half, and it actually didn't bother me at all, which I really thought, like, how in the heck am I ever going to do that? Because my mom, like as a kid, could never even turn the TV off. So I really became okay with not having the TV on for the first time ever in my life. And so that was a really cool thing that I got to try and experience. And I still am not a big TV watcher. You know, I'll sit down at 10:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I'll watch something, you know, for 45 minutes, and I probably pass out before it's even over, and then I have to rewatch it again the next day. I do that a couple days of the week. And then normally by Friday, I actually finish the entire episode because I'm like, okay, I got the energy now to watch the whole thing by Friday. But it takes me like 10 minute sprints, like all the way through the evening. So, you know, I've tried so many things, and some of them have been really successful. Others have been not. I had a coaching client today, this week, tell me, you know, I've been trying really hard to read just 10 pages a day. I was actually taught to read 10 pages a day too. I was actually taught to take the number of pages in the book, divide them up by 30, and read that many pages. And for a long time, I never got that done. I'm one of those people, like, if I'm really into the book, I continue reading the book. If I'm not into the book, I'm probably never going to pick the book up again. So for me, it was really about finding the right books that I could spend my time reading. I did share with that client as well that now I don't read. I don't feel like I have I don't feel like I have to read every single page of the book. I feel like I can just go to that specific chapter that I'm needing at that moment. Now, some books I do read front to back, and I do love doing that, but I don't feel guilty anymore if I'm not reading it front to back. I can just pick it up, read what I need to, put it down, reference it, whatever it is, and get inspired. I kind of read also until I get inspired, and then I close it down. I do the same thing with courses. I'll buy a course, I'll take the course, and then as soon as I get inspired and it lights a spark of an idea, I run and go do that idea, versus like, I have to finish the whole course before I can actually go implement this. And then by the time I'm done taking the course, I'm too tired to even like try to implement it, or I forget what I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, I just allow those sparks to kind of just go. So all of that being said, I'm disciplined in my growth. I'm disciplined in showing up every day for my clients. I'm disciplined in getting my work done. My word means so much to me. And what I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. You know, those are the things that I'm really disciplined in doing. And, you know, I really think that at the end of the year, I'm going to be able to look back at this year and say, okay, I did some really great things really, really well. And then on the other hand, what do I need to do better? Because we're all growing, and we're not perfect, and we're not expected to be perfect, but we are expected to be aware of what worked and what didn't work. So do a little bit of inventory on yourself. Let me know down in the comments what inspired you or what resonated with you on this. And I hope you have the energy today to go do something that inspires you. Bye.